The Livestream Code and Rating Administration has rated this online event PG. All ages admitted. Please be kind and stay on topic.
Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to, let's just call it Retro TV Chat Tonight, or The Good Stuff Live, whatever you prefer. My name's Dave Sundstrom. I'll be your host for the next 60 minutes or so. And if you enjoy talking about television from decades gone by, you've come to the right place. So I've got a few clips I'll share throughout the evening, just old commercials and some other fun stuff. But more than anything else tonight, aside from the topic being retro television, we can talk about whatever you want. And I see that we've got lots of folks here in the chat visiting it up. I apologize for my tardiness. We've had a lot of rain here in Kaysville, Utah. Quite frankly, in the Salt Lake City Valley over the last few hours. And there's actually some massive flooding going on. And getting home tonight was a bit of a challenge. It turns out that when you have this much rain and you got the roads with water all over them, people drive a little bit nutty. And there were lots of police cars and other emergency vehicles out tonight. And I'm just fortunate to be home and to be dry and to be hanging out with a good group of people. So with that said, I'm going to go over to the comment section. I'm going to look and see who we've got here, see what is indeed going on. I'm scrolling all the way up the top. I want to say hello to, there we go. I think we're at the top. Let's see. We've got channel member Sean Innes here. He showed up a few minutes early. Ken Wilkinson is here as well. Let's see, channel member Tracy Roth Myers. Excellent. So good to have you here. And I'm pretty certain, I think it's already disappeared from the chat, at least from the StreamYard chat. But I'm pretty darn certain I saw a super chat from Tracy. Tracy, thank you so very, very much. You're keeping me hydrated this evening, and you are my executive producer. Now, when I have a chance to go back and take a peek, if there's anyone else, I'll make sure to thank them as well. Right now, I can't see if there's anyone else, so we're going to keep going and keep welcoming people. We've got David Thomas here, channel member Lance Chaffin, Mike Silva is here with us, channel member Keith E. Tom McCluskey hanging out, says, hi, everyone. Hope everything is good. Matt Sweeney is here. Pat McCormick, fresh off the reunion of Kurth and Taylor that happened over this weekend. It was a gala concert, from what I understand, with all sorts of special guests like Kathy Garver and Hank Garrett in the audience. How cool is that? Oh, let's see what else we've got here. Al Oduarte's here with us tonight. Always good to have you with us here, Alfred. And let's see. Justin Eilert, good to have you here. Hopefully, I know you are soon to be taking off on a big voyage, so travel safe, my friend. Tug, good to have you with us. What a treat that is. I've just been recently, I knew Tug was out there and I knew what he was doing, but I've been really kind of deep diving on his channel. I'm really excited. I think we will have him in the not too distant future on one of these live streams so I can visit with him and learn more about the history of his channel, why he does what he does, what makes the man tick. I really do enjoy visiting with YouTube creators and learning their stories. John Crapper's here. Welcome, John. Channel member Emily Miller, Karen Lee Maloney. Welcome. Good to have you with us tonight. Gary Carpenter, I see him in the chat as well. My friend Danny Staten, who sent me a picture of him wearing a Thrash Pondo t-shirt today. How cool is that? Wajamin, welcome. Good to have you with us as well. Maud Matilda H, welcome to the live stream tonight. And let's see, anyone else here? Swilco Barfington III says, rest in peace, Pee Wee Herman. Yeah. Man, oh man, Paul Rubens left us way too soon at the age of 70. Brain cancer. Been battling it for the last 6 years. Kind of privately. Didn't want anyone to know what he was going through. Dan M. from Brooklyn, welcome. Channel member Kenny the Wine Guy. What a treat to have you with us as well. Let's see. I think I said hello to channel member Emily Miller, but just in case, I will say hello one more time. Let's see. Who else do we have here? I'm slowly catching up. I'm only 3 minutes behind, so we should get through the end of the list here quickly. Chris Budarakos, welcome. Good to have you with us. And let's see. Dr. Song is with us as well. Welcome. Hope everybody's ready to talk retro TV. Gloop Trekker, good to have you with us as well. Welcome to the live stream. Ali Alias, hello. Good to have you here. Another guy, TN from Tennessee. Welcome. Lamont Bradford, there's a name that I recognize. Welcome, Lamont. Good to have you here. Tom Space says movie theaters are safe from Pee Wee again. Oh, man. We have to go down that path. You know what I say when someone has left us and recently left us, let's remember the good things. Let's remember, we all make mistakes. I sure hope when I die, I sure hope that people don't bring up all the crappy, cruddy decisions that I made throughout my life. And I haven't made an adult theater decision like that, but I've made some doozies, and I sure hope that that's not where people choose to go. Melissa Foster, welcome. Good to have you with us. And I think I am completely caught up. That is awesome. Let's see what we've got going here. So, with that said, what's on everybody's minds tonight? Of course, we have the passing of Pee Wee Herman. But there's surely some other things we can talk about as well. I'm just going to start reading comments. I'm going to kind of pull a Thrash Pondo tonight. I could do a quiz, but I probably won't. I'm keeping this to a lean, mean 60 minutes. So I'm going to read comments, and I'm going to answer questions, and we're just going to go from there. How's that sound? Okay, let's see what I got here. We'll start with Danny Staten. My friend Danny Staten. And man, Danny, if I'd had time, I would have actually uploaded that picture so that I could share it with everybody. You're looking awful sharp in that Thrash Pondo t-shirt. By the way, folks, if you are thinking about picking up a Thrash Pondo t-shirt from my store, do it quickly. I'm about to retire that t-shirt. I'm going to give Bob, Thrash Pondo, I'm going to give him the image and let him do with it what he wants. I really feel like a Thrash Pondo t-shirt should be sold on a Thrash Pondo channel. Anyway, Danny says, anybody see my Barbie comic book review from the 60s? It's the thing of nightmares. I haven't seen it yet. I will definitely check it out. I really enjoyed the portion of your live stream last night that I was able to hang out on and just listen to. I thought you had some interesting content, some fairly interesting stories for the midnight hour. So that's a lot of fun, folks. Check out Danny Staten's channel. Let's see. You can find the Danny Staten channel just by searching his name right there. You can see it. And there's a lot of other ways to find Danny's stuff. If you do a Bigfoot search, you're going to run into some other stuff that Danny does. David Thomas says, we all make mistakes. We sure do. We all make mistakes. And, unfortunately for some folks, those mistakes are more public than others, right? And that one was certainly an embarrassing one. I do love his return after that happened. It was at the MTV Music Awards, and classic. He gets up. He's the first person that shows up on stage once they start broadcasting, and he just says, "Have you heard any good jokes or heard any good jokes lately?" I think is the way he asked it, and just the audience response. There was a mixture of, well, it was funny, but also an element of forgiveness. And it was really a beautiful night. And I was happy to see that, in this world that we live in now, that is so full of cancel culture, I'm glad it didn't exist then, or at least not to the extent that it does today. And I hope that we can all try to be understanding and recognize that we all goof up from time to time, for sure. Gary Carpenter says, "Do you ever see Graveyard Guy or Hollywood Graveyard?" I've seen the Hollywood Graveyard channel before. I don't know if I've Graveyard Guy. Is he the guy that actually it's like a live visit as he goes and walks out to the various gravestones and markers? I may have seen him as well, but that one isn't quite as recognizable for me. Swilco Barfington III says actor strike. The network should be rerunning classic shows. Well, they could, but that's kind of already that those shows are being run on MeTV, a number of other channels like Antenna TV, Catchy Comedy. Of course, they're all over things like the streaming services like Pluto and Friendly TV. So I don't know if they would have the appeal. The networks tend to like to appear to have fresh content, which is why we're going to see a lot of unscripted shows for the next year and a half, I think. Lots of reality television, game shows, that kind of stuff. And we're without a doubt, we're going to see a delay of the fall television season. Mike Silva, my man, Mike Silva says, "Emily, I saw the Barbie movie. It was hilarious and fun to watch at my theater." My wife has seen it. I have not. I will see it probably at this point on streaming, though. Pat McCormick says, "I hope no one mentions I'm wanted in 4 states." Pat, you are a man that is wanted in many states. You are a talented individual, and I'm saddened that I did a search last night on YouTube to see if there were any clips uploaded from your reunion performance with Wally Kurth and is it Chris Taylor, I think, but Kurth and Taylor, the band, and nothing yet. So hopefully that happens because I really want to catch a few clips of that performance. Ali Alias says Paul Rubens was genius. Mike Silva says I want my MTV. Of course, it was August 1st, 1981 that MTV debuted. So just the anniversary was yesterday, right? Today's the 2nd, I believe. Let's see. Tom McCluskey says, "Went and saw Faster Pussycat Kill Kill on the big screen the other night." I have seen Faster Pussycat Kill Kill on the big screen as well, although it's been about 15 years. Delightful film, eclectic film, definitely worth seeing on the big screen. Lamont Bradford says, "We all make errors in life. Don't throw stones." Yeah, it's tempting, right? It's tempting to giggle and laugh, but we do. Channel member Sean Innes says, "I'll worry about that bridge if I ever hear a bad word about you, Dave." So far, nothing. Well, it's probably because you have to be a little bit, my circle here locally, you'd hear a few things. Let's see. Hey, it's Mark Burchett. It's good to have you here with us, buddy. What a treat. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Pat says, maybe SAG negotiations coming. Fingers crossed for the actors and writers. Yeah, me too. I hope they can get the deal that they want. I hope they can get a better deal when it comes to streaming. And I hope that they certainly figure out something when it comes to use of their images in terms of artificial intelligence. That's a big one, and one that they need to make sure that they get a good deal on that, because How horrible would that be to see your image in a production, television or movie, and realize that you weren't even compensated for that? Channel member Keith E says, the thing I most remember about Dave is on August 2nd, 2023. He didn't read my comment. Oh, what a horrible, horrible night that was. But I read this comment. Channel member Emily Miller says, Mike, I want to see Barbie, but I'm going to wait until it streams. I think a lot of people do that these days. I think that's kind of the world that we live in, right? Folks realize that if you are willing to wait anywhere between 30 and 60 days, so a month to 2 months, you're likely to be able to catch that show on streaming. The super impatient people end up like myself. I just plunked down $20 the other day, $24 actually, to buy The Flash on streaming because I wanted to watch it again and did not want to wait until it was available on Max. All right. Dr. Song points out that Magnum PI drink brand beer. A lot of those shows, if you ever look at the beer, the sodas, the potato chips, they all had unique names, either very unique or very generic names, or just names that you almost sound like a brand name but weren't quite. Let's see. Mike Silva asks, has anybody seen any good movies? Gary Carpenter points out that Svengoolie has a comic out now. Awesome. Channel member Sean Innes says, I've already got my Thrash Pondo shirt. I'm in good shape. That's awesome. Channel member Tracy Rothmeyer says, my heart goes out to SAG. Absolutely. Well, you will have to wait till Thrash has him over on his channel, Pat. I'm only comping. I'm not making really much in terms of shirts anymore. But they are fun to still offer up on the channel store. Let's see. Gary Carpenter says he needs to get one. Let's see. Right. Channel member Emily Miller says that they have been in meetings yesterday, but no word yet. Lance Chaffin is just being a lurker tonight. A fly on the wall, if you will. A fly on the wall. All right, folks. We're going to get back to comments in just a second. What do we say? Let's say in about 51 seconds.
Dig those smart sunglasses, that girl. Solid striped sunglasses. She's that girl. Each day's a different pair. That girl wears those sunglasses in her hair. Sunglasses. Plus those long, lush, false eyelashes. That girl, she's not afraid to face the Jimmy rain. I'll bet if she had her way, it'd be sunny every day. That girl on TV land. That girl.
Love it. Mrs. Phil Donahue there. Let's see. Lance Chaffin says, channel member Lance Chaffin says, got my Thrash shirt as well. Wouldn't that be cool? I need to get everybody who has a Thrash Pondo shirt, please send me a picture of it, and I'm going to put together a nice collage, and it's going to be so cool. So send me a picture of you in your Thrash Pondo shirt, those of you that have it. Danny Staten points out that, his main channel, although don't you have a channel called Danny Staten as well? But the main channel is the Daily Damn Blog. Dolph Quick wants to know what my take is on writers and actors strike. I just want them to get a fair deal. And if they don't feel like they have it yet, they shouldn't settle. I've got lots of great television to watch. I can hold out with them. Tracy Rothmeyer's channel member, Tracy Rothmeyer, says Danny has great videos. Indeed, he does. Gloop Trekker says, has anyone been absolutely wrong in predicting the success of a TV show? I didn't think Frasier could carry a series, but was I glad to see that I was wrong? You know what? I'm usually on the other end. I think a show is going to be successful. It's not the for me, the biggest example, and the one that breaks my heart the most, is a television show that starred John Larroquette about 5 years ago called Me, Myself, and I on CBS. I loved it. It had that nostalgic feel. It covered a character, and it was in 3 parts. One when he was in junior high kind of age, then just newly married, and then newly divorced age, and then finally as an older, more successful person. That was the Larroquette character. Really good, and lasted, I think, all of 4 episodes before CBS gave it the axe. They eventually aired the remaining, I think there was 10, 12 episodes, but it was heartbreaking for me, and I really thought that was going to be a huge hit. See, Emily Miller, channel member Emily Miller, wants to see The Boys season 4. And Jerry Gillespie's here. What a treat. Thanks for joining us tonight, Jerry. It's a free-for-all. We're talking mostly about TV, but you know what? The floor is yours, people. Maud Matilda H. says, rest in peace, Pee-wee. Gary Carpenter says, rest in peace, Inga Swenson. We're losing them, folks. It's tough to see them go. Channel member Braidwood Inn, a.k.a. Justin Eilert, says, Frasier ended up having better writing than its parent show Cheers, in my opinion. It was a very wonderful show, and I love Frasier as well. Let's see. Swilko Barfington says, does anybody know the name of the movie that Rubens was watching that fateful day? No clue. I don't think it was ever reported what the name of the show was. Channel member Kenny the Wine Guy says, I love the cover of this month's Remind magazine. You mean this one? How can you not love it? How can you not love that cover? You've got Christopher Reeve on the cover. And interestingly, the cover article is on Top Dollar Collectibles, so on Retro Collectibles. And it was only 2-3 weeks ago that my friends Pat McCormick, Barry King, and Robert Ponce, a.k.a. Thresh Ponce, joined me for Retropalooza 5, where we talked about exactly the same thing. That was fun. Channel member Sean Innes says, Paul Rubens got a standing ovation that he basked in when he returned. Yes, that was at the MTV Music Awards. Raja 1938, welcome. Good to have you with us. Pat McCormick says, went to Forest Lawn for the first time last weekend, ironically. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Let's see. Swilko Barfington III also mentions Inga Swenson. Tugga says, I also think that Frasier was better than Cheers. And Gat Rogers, welcome to the live stream, says, did they ever make a Barbie who was a minority? I absolutely believe that they have. I can't remember the name of the characters, but I know I've seen figures in the Barbie line that were minorities. And I thought that there were, I haven't seen the movie, but I thought there were characters in the Barbie movie that are minorities and differing ethnicities as well. Mike Silva liked Pee-wee's Playhouse. Ali Alias says, retroactive TV? Radioactive TV? Twilight Zone had a few iterations. Yes, they did. I mean, there's been at least 3 iterations that I can think of. Well, 4 if you can count the movie, but we have the original version of the Twilight Zone. You had the 80s version of the Twilight Zone. You had the movie in the 80s as well. And then you had the version that was just, 5 years ago, 5-6 years ago, that was on the CBS streaming service. Let's see. Danny says, hey, I'm going to spend all day Sunday watching Don Knotts. Yeah, I had a spare DVD set, 4 classic Don Knotts movies, and I thought, you know what? There's no one better than to share my love of Don than my buddy Danny Staten. Mike Silva says, Allie, the original Outer Limits, more fun to watch. I don't know if it's a more fun. They're great too. The beauty is that we don't have to choose. Simply Steve 68 says, too many channels. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. And what I like to think of is there's a lot of choice, but I don't have too many channels because truthfully, there's only a handful of channels that I choose to watch these days. Tom McCuskey asks if I ever watch Land MC Goes There. Absolutely. The man is a genius. He is someone that I discovered early on. I won't say that he inspired me because he didn't. I was already making the retro TV stuff and movie stuff when I found his channel, but he has inspired me to try to be better because he certainly does. He's just so good at what he does. I will say that I feel like watching his videos and seeing his channel lately that he's feeling the pressure. It's hard to stay competitive in this climate. There's so many people doing channels similar to Landom C's, Rick 9G's, myself, Thresh Pondo, Pat McCormick, all of us that are doing. Those guys are great, by the way. There's not a Danny. There's not a bad choice out there among those creators. But there's a lot of creators that they're not in it for the love and the passion. They're just doing it to churn out. In some cases, these channels are churning out 5-6 videos a day. They just slap together a bunch of images, read the Wikipedia entry for the character, and give it a salacious title and a really crappy thumbnail and hope that somehow it catches on. And sometimes it does, especially if they pick a really, a thumbnail that makes people clickbait. Anyway, long-winded way of saying, yeah, I watched Landom. Lately, his titles, he really does try to kind of get you in there. And then often what his title is all about may be a comment towards the tail end of the video that's really has not a lot to do with what he's covering. But he's great. He is. He's a talented individual and certainly knows his stuff. Dave Thomas says we're going to see a lot of game shows. Yeah. Thomas Egan says, do you remember the Night Stalker with Darren McGavin? Of course. Kolchak. What a wonderful show. There was even a remake that wasn't quite as good right around the time of the X-Files. Let's see. Squill Barfington says reality TV is awful. Too many channels again. Let's see. Kenny the Wine Guy, channel member Kenny the Wine Guy says, that's right. Kraus from Benson, past 2. That's Inga Swenson. Let's see. Mark Burchett says, I have Dio the Last in Line hardback giant comic book with picture LP, all the Ren and Stimpy comic books, maybe? We'll see at the end. Oh, there they are. Stimpy comics. Very cool. I love Dio. Love Ren and Stimpy. Danny says, Don Notch. Yeah, I knew what you meant, buddy. Let's see. Tug was recently gifted the entirety of Kolchak. How cool is that? Raja 1938 says primetime game shows. I actually missed those. There's actually quite a few on right now. So if you're missing them, now's your time. Revel in the return of the primetime game show. Tracy Rothmeyers, channel member Tracy Rothmeyers says, you know what, though I really like the old shows best. The writing was so superior and the actors, classic actors. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jerry Gillespie says, Dave, I mentioned about Kay from the Brady Bunch episode when Alice quit and Kay took over. Yeah, I remember reading that comment. That was a single episode, though, right? We didn't see the character Kay take over for any more than one episode, if I remember correctly. Globe Trekker says 70s Match Game was one of my favorite game shows for me as well, my friend. For me as well. All right. We'll be back in, let's say, this time, we'll be back in 19 seconds.
Thursday on a special 2-hour Buck Rogers, a sorcerer plots to conquer the earth. His weapon, an army of slave women. And it's up to Buck to stop him.
I've got a reputation to uphold too, you know.
Starring Gil Gerard with Jack Palance and returning to action, Buster Crabbe. Buck Rogers, Thursday.
Chris Badaracco says, I'd like to see a Bonanza marathon. You know, here's what you do. Let me help you out with that. Subscribe to Friendly TVs. It's $6.99, but if you do the $8.99 a month option, you get an unlimited DVR. We'll record whatever you want for 90 days, 3 months. It'll hold whatever you want. Then go to FETV, or is it MeTV, where Bonanza's playing right now, and just have it record every episode. That's what I do with my Friendly TV subscription is I have it record every episode of The Twilight Zone, every episode of Star Trek, every episode of The Brady Bunch, every episode of The Love Boat, every episode of Batman, every episode of Wonder Woman, every episode of Star Trek. And so I have a 3-month library whenever I want to make my own marathon, and I do a lot. That's why I love Friendly TV. I will post a link to Friendly TV in the description section of the video. It's not here right now. But, if you do click on it, and if you do use Friendly TV, the way I use Friendly TV, not only will you have a marathon whenever you want, you'll be supporting the channel. They give me a little kickback every time someone subscribes to Friendly and sticks around longer than the 7 days that you get for free. All right, let's see what else we got here. Tug says, video killed the radio star. My brother Steve just went and saw the Buggles live. How cool is that? I think they were in Las Vegas with Syl. Maud Matilda H says, the death of Julian Sands, a.k.a. Warlock, was a hard one, and now Pee-wee. It's been a rough year. I'd add Sinead O'Connor to that list. Love Sinead. Pat McCormick says, states of confusion. Let's see. Melissa Foster says, can't stand reality shows. They had their day in the early to mid-2000s. There's a handful that I enjoyed, but they have long since worn out their welcome with me. Mike Silva, he's getting pragmatic here, says death is part of life. Sooner or later we all die. That's life. Very true. Very true. Tug says, favorite big screen experience? For me, I'd have to say it was the IMAX release of 2001 for its 50th anniversary. For me, Tug, it was the IMAX release of The Dark Knight. Oh, what a great movie to see on IMAX. Let's see. Oh, wouldn't that be awesome? Pat McCormick, referring to the Kurth and Taylor reunion concert that happened this last weekend, says, and by the way, for those of you that don't know, Pat, who we know and love as the golden rage of television, Pat McCormick, before that, was a member of a lot of really cool bands, not include one of them being the Pat McCormick Band, and which he's just a talented guitarist. And I guess I should say another one of them being Kurth and Taylor, the band, the house band on General Hospital. And there's a lot of fun videos out there on YouTube if you want to check out Kurth Taylor, and you'll see Pat McCormick in action. But I would recommend going to Pat McCormick's channel, The Golden Rage of TV, and you will see some amazing renditions of classic television themes. Fantastic stuff. Such a talented individual. Kenny the Wine Guy, channel member Kenny the Wine Guy, I hate it when I forget to say that, says, a toast to Paul Rubens. Rest in peace, Pee-wee. And I believe Mike Silva is doing a little Banana Splits theme for us. Let's see. Mark Burchett is prophesying that AI has already said it wants to delete us. I'm sure it wants to get rid of the imperfections, and that's the scary thing. Dolph Quick says, NetStar is at it again. This time it's CBS and its affiliates. I miss my soaps. Face purple and crying. Sorry, Dolph. I'm so sorry to hear that. There are alternatives, my friend. If you miss your CBS, there's other ways to get it. Legitimate, legal ways. I'm not talking about there are other ways to get it, but there are, probably the best way. And I don't know if people realize it, and sometimes you're out in a rural area and you can't do this, but if you are anywhere near a city, get yourself a $10, a $20 Mohu leaf antenna, and I bet you'll pick up CBS, and your face will no longer be purple and you won't be crying. Oh, Carl Smith is here. Not much. Really had a heck of a time even getting this live stream started tonight. We've had a lot of flooding here in the Kaysville, Utah area today. And just heavy rains, crazy stuff. Mike Silva says 70s classic Charlie's Angels. I do not disagree. How do you say that? I don't disagree. It's the same way as saying I agree, right? Oh, Dylan McDonald, welcome to the live stream, says, the passing of Paul Rubens hit me really hard. Had some tears. Did you see the message he left us? did I see the message he left us? Dylan McDonald. Of course I saw the message that he left us. It was something that I've never seen this before. It was touching, so articulate, and so Paul Rubens. He said, "Please accept my apology for not going public with what I've been facing the last 6 years. I've always felt a huge amount of love and respect from my friends, fans, and supporters. I've loved you all so much and enjoyed making art for you." Paul Rubens. If you get on TikTok, if you get on Instagram, if you get on what was once known as Twitter, now known as X, there will be a lot of people telling stories about Paul Rubens. The Paul Rubens we never knew. Not Pee Wee Herman. Paul Rubens. Kathy Griffin talks about the phone calls that he made with her, the visits he had with her after she was canceled. What was it, 4 or 5 years ago, when she did a political commentary. I won't say it was in the best of taste, but holding a political figure's head, a severed head. And I'm not going to say that that's something I think someone should do, right? But I also recognize that, in particular, the art of humor, it's a very subjective thing. And anyway, she was canceled. She was canceled from all sorts of gigs, and Paul was there to comfort her, to offer her words of assurances and tell her that, he's been through it. He's been through it. What she needed to do to just kind of cope and get through it as well. Great guy, Paul Rubens. And he left us a boatload of entertainment for us to enjoy. Folks, if you haven't seen Pee-wee's Big Holiday on Netflix, you know what? With the actors strike and writer's strike right now, no better time to go back and watch that. We've all seen Big Adventure, and most of us have seen Big Top Pee-wee. But a lot of folks didn't see Pee-wee's Big Holiday, and wonderful performance by Joe Manganiello as well in that movie. Just a delight. You should check it out. Gary Mangan says, "Dave, love the content." Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. I appreciate the feedback. Let's see. I think let me go back up here. Tracy Rothmeyer's channel member, Tracy Rothmeyer's, wants to see Oppenheimer. I don't. There was part of me that kind of did because I'm a big Nolan fan, but I just feel like I'd be depressed. Jerry Gillespie says he didn't know that Inga Swenson had died. Yeah. Oh, good. I was wondering when Guardians of the Galaxy 3 when it was going to premiere on Disney Plus. I guess I'm watching it tonight. Excited. Let's see. Tug says, if I didn't have a kid who doesn't like going to movies and has serious detachment issues, I'd still go to the theater almost every week. Oh, man. My kids do enjoy going to movies as long as I'm paying. Oh, Pat's really on this. Where's my Thrash shirt? I have no more Thrash shirts. But, Pat, who knows? Maybe we can figure something out for you. You know I love you. Okay. Mike Silva says Disney is woke. Who cares? Mike, I love you, buddy, but who cares? If you know what? Every company has a right to stand up for what they believe is right. Right? And Disney they have said, this is our core beliefs. This is what we're going to do. These are our values. And you know what? If we don't like them, we don't have to support them. But I don't care if Disney's woke. As a matter of fact, years ago, the term woke was fine. It meant that someone had woken up to the idea of being a more diverse, friendly, open, kind culture. And of course, we've turned the word into literally almost a swear word. Makes me kind of sad. Let's see. Anyway, Simply Steve 68 says, when I was younger, we had to wait 6 months to a year. Right. I mean, if you didn't go see that movie in theater, you paid a huge price. You paid a huge price. You had to wait forever for it to come out on VHS. And then sometimes, I remember when Beetlejuice came out on VHS, I put my name on a list to get a VHS copy, and I waited almost another week to be able to get a copy of Beetlejuice to rent for a night. Oh, channel member Emily Miller is swooning over Cillian. That's not how you say it. It's Killian, right? Killian Murphy. He was good as the Scarecrow. He was good in 28 Days Later. I wonder, I know he's good as Oppenheimer as well. He's just a great actor. Gary Carpenter points out that some members of Alice drink a certain kind of beer. All right. Pat says, just kidding. Chris Butteraco says, remember when Adam Sandler was on Remote Control on MTV? I sure do. I loved Remote Control. That was a fun game show. You know, it was kind of the beginning of the end for MTV. That's when they started venturing out. They had Remote Control, and then before you know it, it was the Real World, and then things got even worse and worse. You had Road Rules, MTV Cribs, and things went to pot. And MTV was gone. David Thomas has been watching Murder, She Wrote on Hallmark, M&M, and Great American Family. So many good choices, right? Where you can watch that show. Carl Smith is looking forward to watching Blue Beetle, as am I. I like that actor. He was really good in Cobra Kai, and I think he will be a lot of fun in Blue Beetle. And I like Paul Rodriguez, so should be a fun show. Plus, I'm a DC Comics fan, right? So I have my biases. Let's see. MTV hasn't been the same since 1980. Let's say 9. Let's see. Matt Sweeney points out that Old Dusseldorf with the long neck bottle was Magnum's beer. And the Old Farm Show is here. Great to have you with us. Mike Silva says, That Girl. That's how far behind I am. That must have been the That Girl clip, which reminds me it's time for me to play another clip. So I will be back here in, I don't know. I'll be back in, let's say, a minute and a half.
The Lost Brady.
You know about Phoebe? Wow, after all this time, I thought it would never get out.
Well, I guess now it can be told. After we filmed all 5 seasons of the Brady Bunch series and the show is going into syndications, the producers decided to edit out Phoebe. Oh, poor Phoebe. Well, the truth is she never really fit in.
3 of them with hair of gold and red-haired Phoebe, who often picked her nose.
Then there was the amateur contest episode when we were the silver platters. And Phoebe, naturally, refused to be part of the act.
The first prize is $100. $100? But before we can get on the show, we have to audition our act.
What act?
Well, we can sing a little and we can dance a little. And Bobby and Cindy can be cute and charming.
Cute and charming? Black, forget you losers. I'm doing my own act and keeping the 100.
You ding-a-ling. We got about as much chance of getting on that show and winning first prize and getting the money as we do of robbing a bank.
Hey, Greg, now you're talking.
Forget it.
Who's with me?
I think that after Phoebe Brady was edited out of the show, it made a lot more sense.
For more incredible footage of The Lost Brady, watch the Brady Bunch Marathon all week on Nick at Night.
Remembers Phoebe. Phoebe Brady. Oh, I cried. I was heartbroken when they re-edited all those Brady Bunch episodes and took out Phoebe. Heartbreaking. Hey, Gary Mangan says, recently watched the 60s TV series The Prisoner. Brilliant. Couldn't agree more. I love Patrick McGowan in that show. So good. Kind of a follow-up to the Secret Agent TV series that he was on over there in the UK. And I think that was broadcast here in the US as well. Let's see. I'm going to skip many of the comments. We got some That Girl comments. Let's see. Melissa Foster says, I remember that one episode of The Golden Girls where Dorothy and Blanche are in the store and see a familiar product for dryer sheets, but named Pounce instead of Bounce. Rob Pinto, channel member Rob Pinto says, I am only waiting in excited anticipation for one movie, Deadpool 3. Should be great. Of course, it's affected by the strike, so we'll see when that comes out. We get Hugh Jackman returning as Wolverine, and returning as Wolverine in the classic 70s comic book outfit. Should be very fun. Let's see. Mark Burchett says Marlo Thomas has always been gorgeous. Terrell Eugene Bellinger, a.k.a. Teb, welcome. Good to have you with us. Good to have you. Tug has his Thrash shirt. That's awesome. Tracy Roth Myers, channel member Tracy Roth Myers, has her Thrash shirt. 12-inch Lando is here. Early shows had Magnum drinking Coops instead of Coors. Yes, Carl Smith. Marlo Thomas is married to Phil Donahue. She has been for, I want to say, 40 years. Yes, I saw the picture. I didn't see the video. This was all when I was driving home tonight in the tremendous deluge of rain. So I did take a glance at the picture, but because I was late to the live stream, I didn't have a chance to upload that. Let's see. John Doe's here. Hey, how's it going? Good to have you with us. Pat McCormack points out that anything James Burrows touched was wonderful, was magic. I agree. Tom McCluskey doesn't want to watch anything that is being produced today. Says it's horrible. Stay on strike. I disagree, Tom. You know, you're a wonderful feller. You know I love you. I truly do. You are one of the greats. And this is where I love being, you know, we can have a friendly disagreement. I think there's great shows out there still. I love the, what is it? Only Murders in the Building. The show with Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez. That's a lot of fun. There are good shows out there. You have to really search them out. And, you know, we'll see which ones stand the test of time. Let's see. Tug says, thought Secret Invasion was going to be good. Turns out that was not accurate. I quit watching after the second episode. How sad is that? Because I was excited for that one. Chris talks about, how about the Jeffersons from All in the Family? Couple of great shows, for sure. Channel member Emily Miller has a question. She says, if we watch streaming shows, are we still supporting the strike? I know they don't get residuals from streaming. Well, here's the deal. The way I look at it is that there's really, if you're watching a streaming show that is currently playing, whether you watch it or not doesn't impact their compensation. I don't think I think they would say, go ahead and watch it, and we're going to try to cut ourselves the best deal that we can going forward. And you know what? Hopefully, if the viewers are there when it comes to streaming services, you would hope that the production houses, the networks, would feel more generous when it comes to the type of deal that they strike with these actors. So I think I think it would be worse if we weren't watching them. They'd have less leverage. Braidwood Inn, aka Justin Eilert, channel member Justin Eilert, asks, what was that John LaRoquette show where he worked at a bus station? Was it the John LaRoquette show? I don't remember, truthfully. Skip Rock Jr. says, I just flushed something down the toilet that has done better writing for TV than the last 10 years than the current writers in Hollywood. You know, there's some talented writers out there. There's some not so talented writers out there. It's always been that way. Teb says, Dave, do you think that networks and streamers will have to rely on classic TV shows when Hollywood is currently on strike? I think what we're going to see is a lot of unscripted content, reality shows and game shows. Tug says, wasn't that the John LaRoquette show? Let's see. Channel member Sean Innes says, speaking of Frasier, Perry Gilpin's brother just died. Oh, I did not know that. He played the younger son of Chief Brody in Jaws 2, and I think was on China Beach. Okay. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Dylan McDonald says, The Neighborhood with Cedric the Entertainer is a good newer show. Yeah, I watch when it's on. There's The Neighborhood. There's Bob Hart's Abishola. There is Ghosts, which I really like. And there's that Todd show. What's it called? The Problem with Todd. What about Todd? I can't remember the name of it. It's a Todd show. Todd is he's a really funny character. His mom's a lawyer. I talked about it in the video where I talked about the Matlock reboot. I said, if you really want something that captures the spirit of Matlock, go watch the Todd show, whatever it's called. Cheers, great show. Totally agree, Mike. Totally agree. David Thomas says Star Trek was in danger of being canceled several times, and then Well, a number of people went to bat, not in the least of which including the fans, but it was saved and it got a third season. Glib Trekker asks, how many of you are old enough to remember what the vertical knob did? I mentioned it to a coworker once and just got a blank stare. Yeah, I remember all those knobs on the front of your TV, and I remember when a TV would go out or a tube would start to go on the fritz, and you would start having to play with those knobs. Sakina McMurrin says, good evening. Good evening to you. Indeed, Sakina, welcome. Good to have you here. Tonight's just a free-for-all. We're just visiting. Got another 10 minutes or so before I call this one a night. Go in and eat my Chinese food, shrimp and snow peas, and watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Oh. Mike Silva recommends the 60s Doctor Who show, Dave. You know what? The only Doctor Who I really got into was later iterations, the ones in the last decade or so. I watched some with my oldest son when he was into it and found them entertaining. Jay-Z, welcome to the live stream, says, hottest female sitcom characters of all time. 1, Chrissy Snow. 2, Kate Summers. Aaron Gray, yes. Now you're talking, my friend. Now you're talking. And 3, Jenny Piccolo. Okay. What's her name? Kathy Silvers, right? Let's see. Kathy Silvers, I think does she live in Utah? She might have a Utah connection. Okay, Mark Burchett says the short-lived comedy with John Larroquette as a hotel owner was great and a spin-off of Fawlty Towers. There you go. Carl Smith asks, has anyone watched a TV show that you'd like to see a rebooted version of? I had watched the TV series Outlaws and would be interested in seeing a rebooted version of that show. You know, reboots kind of scare me for the most part. Show that I wouldn't mind seeing a reboot of. How about Wild Wild West? Barry King in the house, welcome. Good to have you with us. I am so excited. I didn't catch it live, so I'm so excited when you do your bionic version of the podcast where you do your show to hear your comments about our latest Retropalooza. I can't wait for that. I'm so excited, Barry. I know I've got 2 or 3 more weeks to hold out. Oh, let's see. One day at a time, Carl. One day at a time. That was a good show. Another fantastic show, Gary Mangum points out, was T.J. Hooker. Tales from the Dark Side. I remember that. A syndicated program in the late 80s. That was a lot of fun. Yes, I mentioned that. There is a 4th version of The Twilight Zone. It was on the CBS streaming service about 5-6 years ago. It's not currently anymore. It's no longer in production, Sakina. Maybe it is in your neck of the woods, like they're broadcasting them now, but they have quit production on that version that was hosted by Jordan Peele. But I found it interesting. I liked it. I still gravitate towards the original version of Twilight Zone. Jerry Gillespie says, I wish that Danny Thomas had crossovers between his shows like Andy Griffith and Dick Van Dyke. Would have been funny to see Barney Fife cause havoc with Rob Petrie's bunch. Oh, yeah. Pat's scooting on out of here because BK's here. And Thomas Egan's here. Welcome to the live stream. Asked me what I thought of Planet of the Apes TV series. I really enjoyed it and was sad to see it go so quickly. I've done a video on that. You should check it out one of these times. Let's see. Carl Smith talks about the rebooted version of One Day at a Time. I haven't watched that one and probably should give it a try because I enjoyed the original comedy. BK says he's up for another version of Retropalooza, and as am I, my friend. Always a treat to get together with you and Pat and Bob. Music Girl 67 says, hey there and good evening, Dave. And to everyone, I hope you all are having a wonderful Wednesday. Thank you very much, channel member Music Girl 67. I appreciate the rainbows and sunshine. It's very nice of you. Oh, let's see. Oh, I did not know that there was another version of Twilight Zone on UPN in the early 2000s. I somehow completely missed that one. Moon Eyes has a question. Welcome to the live stream. In the series, Chips, I never saw anyone pull out a gun. Most arrests come from car crashes and things. So the question is, did they ever pull a gun on anyone? I don't remember it ever happening. So I'm with you. What? 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 Are you kidding me? I am excited as well, but I did not even know it was happening. Is it a sequel or a remake? Sounds like it might be a remake. Hopefully it'll be decent. Love Rocketeer. Police Squad would be fun, but who would take on Leslie Nielsen's role? Tracy Roth Myers, channel member Tracy Roth Myers, says, I can't stand the clickbait videos or the videos where they say the person has died, but they're still alive. Don't click on them. Right click on them. You can tell when it's not real, right? You can tell. If it seems too crazy to be true, it's not true. Right click on them and report them. Disney's really struggling. They are indeed. And you made the comment about Disney being woke. Disney's made some bad decisions. And it's one thing to have diversity in your shows. It's another thing to not give the fan base what they want. And then when it comes to Marvel, Star Wars, and all those wonderful franchises that they have, I think in their desire to be so diverse, so inclusive, they've actually forgotten that there's a legacy here. There's a heritage that they still have to honor. So that's my take on that. Yes, I remember the reboot of Ironside. I talked about it. I did a video a while back on Ironside, the original version with Raymond Burr, and I talked about the reboot there. Let's see. I'm going to just keep scrolling. Let's see. Tug says, the YouTube videos that annoy me the most are the fake movie trailers. I hate those too. They get me so often. Those ones get me because, I'm excited and I see, oh, wow, a new trailer. And then you can tell it's fake. It's just hashed together scenes, sometimes not even of the, it's of the actor in a different role. Glibtrekker asks if I've ever seen Marina Coates' Mockingbird Lane design. I'd love to see her appear on here. I don't even know. None of those names even ring a bell other than Mockingbird Lane, right? I'll have to do some research on that. But no, right now I have not. Buzzer channels, a lot of fun to watch. Absolutely. Classic game shows. Wick Martindale, freaking genius. That man, freaking genius. Danny Hooley says favorite game shows on the Disney channels. Teen Win, Lose or Draw. Mark Price. Do you remember Mark Price? Was it Mark Price that was on that? Was he the host of that? Good show though, yeah. BK, Barry King just finished watching Gary Anderson's UFO again. I just watched a YouTube video about the main actor that played Stryker on that show. I loved UFO. Gave me some nightmares, but I loved it. Hey, Marianne Lockwood's here. Hi. Well, it's great to have you with us tonight, Marianne. Justin, welcome as well. Justin Semenoff. And let's see what else we got. Game Show Network showing the 70s Match Game. One of the best game shows ever made. And I don't know what this comment's about. Probably about a game show. I missed it, but anytime we can just say the name, Casey Kasem, and recognize what a wonderful individual that feller was, we should. Jack Palance, another great actor, and I think you're talking about his appearance in Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. So delightful. So delightful. Buster Crabbe also showed up on that show. Yes, indeed. Planet of the Slave Woman, one of the best episodes ever. Folks, I'm going to try to get a couple more questions before we call it a night. Dave, do you think the network streamers will have to rely on unscripted content with Hollywood's currently on strike? Yes, I do. Until that strike is resolved, if they don't resolve it quickly, we're going to see lots of reality shows and game shows. Project UFO was delightful. That was a Jack Webb production. Moon Eyes wants to know what the robot's name in Buck Rogers was. Tweaky. Felix Silva was inside the costume. Mel Blanc, for the most part, voiced the character. Thanks for asking. Nostalgic Pod Blast, welcome to the live stream. Sorry, I'm just getting to your comment. Physical content is king for classic TV fans since streaming gods giveth and they take it away. I'm discovering that. There was a point, I don't know, 5 years ago, where I seriously thought, you know what, why am I keeping them on my DVDs? Why am I keeping them all? I'll just buy them on streaming, or, most of these are being played on Prime and Netflix. And what I've discovered is that they go away. Like right now, if you want to watch WKRP in Cincinnati Beyond Season 1, good luck. You can catch some low-res versions on YouTube of some of the episodes, but they're low-res, not good quality. Season 1 is on Apple TV. You can buy individual episodes for a couple bucks a pop, but it is streaming nowhere. There's nowhere, no streaming service, and nowhere where you can even buy episodes beyond Season 1 legitimately when it comes to WKRP in Cincinnati. Such a great show and such a shame. Folks, I am going to call it a night. Danny Hooley says favorite game show is America's Funniest Home Videos. I didn't really ever consider that a game show, but there was a prize at the end, so I see where you're going with that. Ooh. Feeling a little burpy. Did you guys hear that? Maybe I should lay off the Diet Coke. Pat says, pour it on, Dave. Was that when I was ranting on the woke stuff? Hopefully I didn't hurt your feelings, Mike. I didn't mean to. If I did, I think you're great. Did I say the Pat McCormick Band? It's the Pat McCormick Group. Tug says, my wife and I don't talk about The Dark Knight on IMAX. She gave me bad directions and we missed the first 15 minutes. A video I'm going to do very, very soon is how Batman almost destroyed my marriage. So, Tug, I can relate. I can relate. It was delightful, The Dark Knight on IMAX. No need to be beat red when you've earned those accolades, my friend. You just stand proudly and take the honors as they come. Folks, this is it. I'm calling it a night. I'm going to let you guys visit some more for a few minutes, play a couple more clips. But you know what they say? Leave them wanting more, right? I think that's what we're going to do tonight. So I'm going to call an end to the live stream. Thank you to everybody who joined me tonight. You're all great. I love this community. You're so much fun. Thanks to Tracy Rothmeyers for dropping a super chat at the beginning of the live stream. It was kind, Tracy. Your generosity knows no bounds. Folks, Tracy has a channel as well, and I would encourage you to check out her channel. I'm trying to think of the full name of the channel. Come on, let me find it here. Tracy, did you leave us? I'm not finding the name of her channel right now. And Tracy's Fractured History and More. Folks, check out her channel. She's doing mostly live streaming these days. I think a lot of channels kind of get their start, kind of just figure out where their niche is and what they enjoy talking about by live streaming. So I'm hoping that she creates some other content besides the live streams in the future. But check her out. Give her a subscribe if you think it's a channel that you would find interesting. She's a good lady. And I think, I'm going to hit this question real quick because it's an important one. Marianne Lockwood asks about my brother Steve. He hasn't posted in a while. He's just extremely busy. Busy with work, busy with raising two girls that are just almost teenagers right now. and extremely busy. And you know what? His videos just weren't getting viewed. YouTube wasn't sharing them on the homepage and on the up next section. And I think it gets discouraging when you post a video and they really just don't get views. So, but I think we'll still continue to see videos from him from time to time. Thanks for asking, Marianne. That's very kind of you. Oh, yeah. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Let me bring Fred Rogers on. You know no one says it better than Fred. No one says it better than Fred.
You are special.
Thanks to all of you for your support. You're all truly appreciated. I've got a few more videos that I'll play while you guys visit. And then I just hope you guys all have a great remainder of the week, your weekend. I'll see you all on the flip side next week sometime. Be kind to each other. Take care. Have a great night, folks.
Tonight on B, Diana summons a master assassin.
I eat what I catch.
But will she choke on the main course? And Hunter rubs a suspect the wrong way and ends up in the joint, a marked man. Then on Miami Vice, it's
game time.
Tonight. Jane Seymour in Le Jardin de Max Factor.
Le Jardin.
They say romance is back in style. I say it never went out. Le Jardin says it too. It says it subtly. It says it softly. Because if you want romance to come on strong, you have to come on soft.
Le Jardin de Max Factor, the incurably romantic fragrance.
Little sharps, big sharps, shoot from the hip sharp. Light sharps, bright sharp, boogie through the night sharps. Big sharps, anything you see sharps.
Sharp Video. From sharp minds come sharp products.
Next, it's an all-new special with dozens of stars performing death-defying acts, astounding feats of great skill, and riotous comedy stunts galore. It's a very exciting array of celebrity entertainment on the all-new 9th Annual Circus of the Stars. Next.
Want to catch their faces as they open their gifts? Then you better ask them for the Kodak disc. You better ask them for the Kodak disc, so you can take pictures as easy as this. Look at all the shots you're not gonna miss when you ask them for the Kodak disc. The Kodak disc camera is easy to load, advances automatically, and has a built-in flash. You think Santa's gonna bring you a gift that's easier and more fun than that? Ho, ho, ho! So this you think quick when you write to say Nick. Better ask them for the Kodak disc.
NBC Monday Night at the Movies returns following these messages.
Wednesday on The Facts of Life, when Blair takes Joe to court, will it end their friendship?
I can't believe you subpoenaed me.
And on It's Your Move, Norm leaves Matt with a devious babysitter.
Nice to see you up on your hind legs.
But Matt's got a secret weapon. Then on St. Elsewhere, when a patient's wife catches Ehrlich's eye, will he maintain the proper bedside manner?
Wednesday. If you're looking at video cassette recorders and you're confused by all your choices, just look at the most important feature of all, the picture. And Sony Betamax records a sharper picture than VHS. That's not just our opinion. In tests throughout the country, more people said the picture was sharper with Sony Betamax than VHS. So how many choices do you really have? Only one. Sony Betamax, a sharper picture.
The A-Team. Fearless. Dedicated. First on the scene with Chopper A. Exposing the truth. Working for you. Hannibal Smith, B.A. Baracus, Howley, Mad Murdoch, and the Face Man. For a team you can trust, turn to the A-Team. Weeknights, only on TV Land.
When Wally loses his temper, let me handle this. I got away with people. He and Eddie wind up behind bars. The comedy hit of the season, the new Leave It to Beaver. Today at 6:30 Eastern and tomorrow at 6:05, only on the Superstation.
Finally tonight, is Pepsi trying to sell its soft drinks with subliminal messages of sex? Some people think so. Pepsi's putting out special edition cans of the soda decorated with neon lettering. But a lot of people think the neon letters actually spell out the word sex. Look carefully, then you be the judge.
There's the S, E, and X. There's the S, there's the E, and there's the X.
You don't see it?
I see it, but it's just by chance.
By chance.
By chance.
You don't think it's intentional?
No.
No.
Pepsi, no.
Pepsi Corporation expects the neon campaign to be successful, perhaps more so than they ever dreamed. They still swear the neon letters spell Pepsi, nothing else, but if we keep talking about it like this, then they can't lose.